In a recent poll on my channel, I asked the question of whether you think sports cards are a form of gambling. In this video, I'm going to discuss the poll results and also share my thoughts around this topic. Let's get into this. Okay, so the question I asked in my community post was, do you consider sports cards a form of gambling? 128 responses came in, which is more than most of my poll questions, actually. 20% said, yes, absolutely, I think they are. 68% said they can be, but they don't need to be. And 13% said not at all. I am firmly in the second category with 68% of you. They can be, but they don't need to be. I feel like, and I talk about this in different videos at different times, I feel like a lot of things can be a form of gambling depending on how you approach it. Almost anything. I mean, you know, buying houses, real estate can be a form of gambling. So the stock market can be a form of gambling. Almost anything can be if it's approached with that kind of mindset, and they don't have to be if they're approached with a different form of mindset. And I think sports cards are a canvas, and how people choose to paint on that canvas is based on the individual. If somebody approaches sports cards like gambling, then it is gambling. If they're going to buy wax in the same mindset that they're going to buy a lottery ticket, it's gambling. If they're going to, try to find a card like rookie prospecting on the possibility that somebody becomes the next big Michael Jordan, Giannis Antetokounmpo kind of superstar, then there's a certain degree of gambling in that mindset, I think. But at the same time, it doesn't need to be. You could do the exact same action and it doesn't have the same mindset, and it's not gambling. I feel like you could open up a pack of cards because you want some nostalgia, or you enjoy chasing cards for the fun of it, but you're not necessarily looking for that big hit. It's not necessarily gambling. Or you could be just finding cards for your collection because you like to collect. That's not really gambling. You could be finding flipping opportunities and arbitrage opportunities. That's not really gambling. That's like retail arbitrage kind of equivalent. I feel like there's so many different ways to engage in the hobby that it's all about the mindset. If you are approaching it as gambling, it's easy to treat it that way, and that your actions reflect a gambler's mindset. It's absolutely possible that people are in that way, but you don't have to be. And I very clearly choose not to be. I don't gamble at all. I'm even don't even play poker and gamble. I don't like it. It doesn't bring me any sense of joy. I lived in Macau for 4 years one time, another year another time. I never once, not even one single time, went into the casinos other than to walk through them on the way from one side to another. Gambling does not draw me in the slightest. The idea of sitting in front of a slot machine and pulling that slot doesn't even sound fun. The idea of sitting down and playing poker or playing blackjack doesn't draw me in even slightly. I would rather sit there and twiddle my thumbs. That sounds more fun to me. It doesn't draw me in. So when it comes to sports cards, the concepts of gambling are things I avoid very specifically and very purposely, I just feel like there's something about gambling that's a negative thing in my mind. For other people it's different, and that's cool. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, for me, I don't like it. I don't do sports betting on this channel. I would never, if a sports betting company was to ask to be a sponsor of my channel, I would decline them, even if it was a really lucrative kind of thing. I don't like it. I don't like the concept behind gambling. I avoid it completely. And in the hobby, I avoid it completely as well. Now, if you choose to approach it in a sports bettor's mentality, if you choose to approach it in a gambler's mentality, there's nothing inherently wrong with that for you. I'm not judging that. I feel like anybody can approach this as they want. I'm just saying, for me, I very specifically choose to avoid that kind of approach. I have talked about this I've talked about this in other videos in relation to rookie prospecting and how it could be considered a form of gambling depending on the mindset. I've talked about it in a lot of different ways, but I do feel like a lot of engagement with the hobby, a lot of things related to the hobby is just in the mind and how we approach it. And the hobby is like this really open, vast thing, and people can approach it in so many different ways. And that's one of the things that I really love about the hobby. I mean, I've said in other videos too, I really like being able to engage in the hobby in a variety of different ways, from from the angle of just a learner trying to learn about some of the history of different sets and the historical context within which they were placed. I also like some of the rookie prospecting because I just like some of the rookies, and I like to be engaged with the modern cards in the sense that I enjoy the NBA and I enjoy how cards and the NBA, the connection there, that I can feel that the cards are related to these players that I really enjoy watching, that many of them I really respect as humans, and I really enjoy that connection. So I enjoy from vintage to modern. I enjoy the business side of the hobby. I enjoy the arbitrage side of the hobby. I enjoy the opening packs when I can. I enjoy the fact that the hobby is so open to people approaching it in different ways. But I don't personally feel any enjoyment with the gambler's approach to it. Some people do. That's cool. That's their thing. Do your thing. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope it was interesting. Peace.